Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the fascinating biology and, let's be real, the enduring myths of conception. We're going to see if you can actually choose your baby's sex. So whether you're actively planning a family right now, or you're just kind of curious about the science and the folklore surrounding human reproduction, well, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get into it.
Now, we all know the odds of having a boy or a girl are roughly 50-50, right? It's literally one of the great biological coin tosses of nature. But today, we are exploring if it's possible to actually tilt those odds in your favor. Can you stack the deck? People have wondered this for absolutely centuries, and it's led to a massive myriad of old wives' tales. But back in the mid-20th century, a medical doctor proposed a highly specific, rule-based system claiming that you absolutely could.
Here's our agenda for today. First, choosing your baby's sex. Second, the Shettles method explained. Third, trying for a boy. Fourth, trying for a girl. Fifth, does the science agree? And finally, the final takeaway.
All right, Section 1. Choosing your baby's sex. The 50-50 odds. To kick things off, let's establish a basic biological fact about how the sex of a baby is actually determined at the very moment of conception. Honestly, it all comes down to chromosomes. A woman's eggs are universally genetically coded with the female X chromosome. There's zero variation there. Men, on the other hand, produce millions of sperm, and roughly half of these carry the X chromosome, while the other half carry the Y chromosome. So since the egg is always an X, it's entirely up to the sperm to determine the outcome. If an X-carrying sperm fertilizes the egg, the baby will likely inherit XX, which we associate with being a girl. If a Y-carrying sperm gets there first, the result is XY, meaning a boy. The whole race is completely in the hands, or actually, scratch that, the incredibly fast-moving tails of the sperm.
Moving on to Section 2, the Shettles method explained, a 1960s theory. Enter Dr. Landrum B. Shettles. He was a physician in the 1960s who fully believed he had cracked the code to influencing exactly which of those sperm reaches the egg first. Dr. Shettles intensely studied sperm, the timing of intercourse, sexual positions, and even the pH levels of body fluids. From all these observations, he developed the Shettles method. Basically, it's a super detailed set of practices dictating exactly when and how to have intercourse. And you know what? This method became incredibly popular. It even spawned a highly sought-after book called How to Choose the Sex of Your Baby, which, believe it or not, was updated as recently as 2006. Shettles claimed that by simply tweaking the timing and environment of conception, you could intentionally favor one type of sperm over the other. At the absolute core of his theory, Shettles claimed there were distinct physical differences between the two types of sperm. He stated that the Y, or the male sperm, were smaller, lighter, and had round heads, which supposedly made them incredibly fast, especially in alkaline environments. On the flip side, he claimed the X, or female sperm, were heavier, larger, and had oval-shaped heads. This made them slower, sure, but capable of surviving much longer in the naturally acidic conditions of the vaginal canal. Essentially, he looked at it like this. Male sperm were speedy but fragile sprinters, while female sperm were slower but highly resilient marathon runners. Let's look at Section 3, trying for a boy, speed and alkalinity. So how exactly do you apply this theory if you're trying for a boy? Well, according to the method, it's all about speed and creating an alkaline environment. Shettles had a specific 3-step playbook for this. First up, timing. He said you should avoid sex in the days leading up to ovulation and instead time it exactly on the day of ovulation, or up to 3 days after. Second, the position. He advised a position allowing for deep penetration, entering from behind. The goal here was to deposit the sperm as close to the cervix as humanly possible, basically shortening the race for those fast but fragile male sprinters. And third, the method highly encourages the woman to orgasm first. Why? Because female secretions during orgasm are naturally more alkaline, which supposedly gives those Y sperm a massive biological tailwind.
To push this alkaline advantage even further, Shettles actually suggested a homemade baking soda douche. Yes, the exact same baking soda you probably have sitting in your kitchen pantry right now. He advised mixing 2 tablespoons of it with 1 quart of water and using it right before timed intercourse to artificially crank up the alkalinity of the reproductive tract.
Okay, pause. We need a very serious medical caveat here. While we're just exploring a historical method today, modern medicine strongly intervenes on this practice. Doctors and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists strictly warn against douching. Douching completely disrupts the natural flora of the vagina and can lead to severe infections, including pelvic inflammatory disease, and that is a major cause of infertility. Do not risk your long-term reproductive health for a decades-old conception theory, okay?
Moving into Section 4, trying for a girl. endurance and acidity.
Let's see how this builds a completely opposite strategy for those trying to conceive a girl, focusing entirely on endurance and acidity. To favor those resilient X sperm, our marathon runners, Shettles suggested a massive contrast to the boy method. He recommended having sex in the days following your period, but stopping at least 3 days before ovulation. The logic? The fast male sperm would just die off quickly, leaving only the durable female sperm waiting when the egg was finally released. For position, he recommended shallow penetration, like the missionary position. This forces the sperm to travel a much farther distance through the naturally acidic vaginal canal, an environment he claimed the male sperm just couldn't survive in. Finally, the method dictates the woman should actually refrain from orgasm until after ejaculation to keep the environment as acidic as possible.
And just as with the boy playbook, Shettles had a chemical hack for girls too. He suggested a highly acidic white vinegar and water douche to be used right before sex. But please remember our earlier medical warning: modern medicine strongly advises against putting your reproductive health at risk by douching. Altering your body's delicate pH with vinegar can lead to the exact same dangerous infections and fertility issues we literally just discussed.
Okay, section 5. Does the science agree? The reality check. So we have this super elaborate step-by-step method from the 60s with rigid rules for timing, positions, and environment. But we really have to ask, does modern science actually agree with it? It's time for a reality check. If you look at Dr. Shettles' own work, particularly his updated 2006 book, he confidently claimed a 75% success rate for couples who strictly followed his method. And honestly, you can find plenty of anecdotal stories and bloggers online today who swear it worked perfectly for them. But while these individual stories are definitely compelling, clinical researchers looking at large, massive pools of data have a vastly different perspective.
Decades of subsequent research absolutely dismantled the foundational biology of this theory. A major 1991 review of studies completely refuted the timing claims, actually finding that male babies were often conceived in excess of 3 to 4 days before ovulation, which is the exact opposite of what Shettles advised. Then, a 1995 study revealed that having sex 2 or 3 days after ovulation, which Shettles recommended for a boy, is highly inefficient and rarely leads to pregnancy at all. But the final nail in the coffin came in 2001, when a definitive study proved that X and Y sperm are completely identical in shape and size. There are no sprinters, there are no marathon runners, they look and swim exactly the same.
Which brings us to section 6, the final takeaway: IVF versus nature. So how should prospective parents navigate these biological myths when planning their families? The absolute reality is that unless you're using advanced medical procedures, there's no magic formula. There's no perfect timing and no sexual position that guarantees a specific sex. The only scientifically guaranteed method to select your baby's sex is through pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, or PGD, which is a genetic screening test performed as part of an IVF cycle. Outside of a lab, nature is fully in control.
So here's what you really need to take away from all of this. First, your natural odds remain roughly 50-50. Second, and this is a huge one, trying these strict timing tricks won't necessarily hurt you, assuming you skip that dangerous douching, of course. But it might actually make it take much longer for you to get pregnant at all. That's because you are artificially limiting the days you're actually trying to conceive. And third, if you have your heart firmly set on a specific sex, you absolutely must be mentally prepared for either outcome. So I'll leave you with this to ponder. Is it really worth the stress, the rigid rules, and the potential delays of perfectly timing your conception for what essentially remains a biological coin toss? Or is embracing the natural 50-50 mystery just part of the beautiful, unpredictable magic of parenthood? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time as we continue to break down the fascinating science shaping our lives.